Hi folks, just a quick video about Man United again because there's so much stupidity around this, and to be honest, I wouldn't have minded if on Monday if Ruben Amorim had been sacked and Wilcox had been sacked as well. I wouldn't have minded that at all. Because you would have seen, okay, the people above are taking things seriously. They're understanding that after Ruben's comments, you can't keep him. But what exactly? Because apparently Ruben lost his temper with Wilcox. Okay, in his press conference, Ruben pointed out that the scouts and the basically director of football need to do their job. That he will do his job, but they also need to do their job. And he pointed out the scouts and director of football. Why? Because last season was well known, people's opinion was, it was the worst season in over 30 years. During the summer, there was lots of talk about players that needed to come in. Obviously, Rasmus Højlund, unfortunately, he wasn't given the opportunity. The way Man United play, they don't have the players right now. And again, that's always been up to the bloody board. Always. They've had managers that have preferred Ruben the same as Erik ten Hag. They prefer wingers to be inverted. Therefore, they don't go past the defender. They don't cross the ball in. And when they do, they're bloody woeful at crossing the ball in because their mentality is they want to come in and shoot. They don't really want to cross. So when they're in a position to cross, they've not really worked on that. So the crosses are absolutely bloody terrible. Now, what the board should have done, you get a manager in who plays this 3 at the back, 2 wingers, 2 midfielders, and then 3 at the front, right? The first thing you do, you go out and you buy wingers who can do the blinking job. You go and buy wing backs who, when we've got the ball, can be fast attacking wingers that are bloody good at crossing the ball in. When we haven't got the ball, they count as left backs and right backs. They slot into defence, right? You're going to have 4 players like that. Why 4? Because in the first half, the one on the left and the right, are going to be knackered at the end of the first half. They might last another 10 minutes, but they're going to be knackered. They're going to have to run forward and run back and be the ones who cover the most distance, aren't they? So you need players who can do that. Players that can cross. Players that can handle the ball. Players that can defend. Did they do that? No. They brought in Dogu, who's a kid, and basically, you've got to give him time. Excuse me, you've got to give him time when we have the worst team that United have had in over 30 years. You bring in a player that you've got to give him time. And then on the other side, Dalot, who can't defend. Generally speaking, the amount of times that he lets the opposition cross the ball into the box, when we've got Heaven and Yoru, 2 kids at centre-back. If I was in charge of Man United now, I would sell Dalot now. In this window. If he doesn't understand as a player, when you've got kids at the back, you keep that bloody ball away from them. You do your job. You bust a bloody gut to make sure they don't have to defend that cross in there. Why? Because they're kids. They're playing against big, strong forwards. You protect them. He didn't. Get rid of him. Get him gone. I would not want to see him wearing the Man United shirt again. I said about Ugarte last season. He did that thing where he lost the ball and he laid down and stayed down while the other team attacked. Again, straight away, as soon as a player does that, get rid of him. As soon as he plays, as soon as he shows it's all about him, get rid of him. Any player who's not willing to bust their gut for their teammates, for the club and for the fans, get rid of them. Yeah, all this crap about Mainu. Again, Amorim said, no, Mainu can't start. He doesn't do the job. Because he doesn't. Mainu is quite slow. He's not very fast. He's quite small, so he's not very strong. He's not good in the air because he's small. So in that system that Ruben plays, you need 2 central midfielders who can do the job. Again, United didn't even bother trying to do that. In that summer, they brought in 2 experienced players, both number 10s, Mbeo and Kuna. Then they brought in 3 youngsters, well, counting Dogu, 3 youngsters, 3 prospects. And again, it sickens me with the idea that people are counting Sesko as a youngster. He's nearly 23. As a football player, that's not a youngster anymore. That's not a prospect. At 23? Sorry, no. If you've got talent, that talent should be showing. But again, that's the point. Amorim didn't want Sesko. He didn't want Dogu. He didn't want Lamans. He wanted to bring in vastly experienced players in those positions. Why? Because we were weak in those positions. When you're weak, you don't bring in prospects. Do you? Not unless... It's basically... Wilcox brought these players in. He went against the manager and brought youth in instead. Right? He's basically sticking 2 fingers up to the manager. By doing that, that's what he's done. The manager has a group of players that have no interest in putting in the effort to learn his way of playing. I mean, for goodness sake, these are supposed to be professional football players that take pride in their job and they get paid a bloody fortune, and yet they have no interest in actually trying to do things according to the way the manager wants to play. Not only do you keep most of those players that have already shown under Erik ten Hag and Amorim that they are not interested. You keep them, but you get rid of 9 players, mostly on loan. 3 leave on freeze. 1 is sold and 5 are loaned, right? So you get rid of 9 from the squad and you bring in 2 experienced players, both playing the same position. You've got to be kidding me. How on earth is Wilcox still got a job? How on earth did he get a job in the first place? Jim was the one who said, supposedly Sir Jim, he's called Sir Jim because he's made money. And again, he has to be one of the luckiest men alive. He clearly didn't make money due to wise decisions, because he hasn't made wise decisions so far at United. He's made bloody terrible ones. So therefore, and he's a liar, because when he said he'd bring in the best of the best, he didn't. He hasn't yet. So as a businessman, he must have got the most clever, most wise businessman alongside him. So he did well finding them, because they were the ones who made him the money. I don't think he was even capable in any way, shape or form of making money. Not the way he's running United. He seems to be a highly incompetent man. Well, again, if you say you're going to bring the best of the best in, why would you look at a man who has never played for, never worked at Manchester United? He's worked at City. Wilcox, he's worked at City. He's had 1 year of experience as director of football at Southampton. And you bring him in to manage Man United, who are a team that is broken, a club that is broken, and you bring someone who has 1 year of experience to deal with that. 1 year of experience, and you think that's the best of the best? Come on. I've got nothing personal against Wilcox. I don't know the bank, never met him. But if you're going to bring someone in to fix the situation at United where the football side was ignored by the Glazers, they had Woodward, who's a money man, running the football. If you're going to bring a football man in to fix that, you bring someone in with 20 or 30 years of experience of the job. Someone who knows their job. Maybe someone who knows the club. Remy Mullenstein would have been an ideal person to bring in. For that job, yeah. Far more experience, knows the club, has worked at the club, and has been at a reasonably high level with regards to, managerial and that sort of stuff at Man United for many, many years. Got rid of by Moyes. Moyes got rid of him when he came in, which was really stupid. But if you're going to be looking for someone to do that job as director of football, loads of people. For me, I would be constantly knocking on the door of Van der Sar. Even though Van der Sar had health issues after his time at Ajax ended, I'd be knocking on his door saying, please come. Very experienced director of football, very experienced CEO. Bring him in. Get rid of Barada. Bring in someone who is experienced at the job at a high level, Ajax, and also knows the club. If you're going to bring in the best of the best, not only do you need to bring in people with years worth of experience who have been doing the job exactly. Ralph Rangnick would have been a good one to bring in as director of football. He's done the job. He was brought in, and when he was brought in as interim manager, he was supposed to become the director of football after that time. They got rid of him because he spoke truth and said, this club needs open heart surgery. It's a mess. And into that mess, you bring in Wilcox to run the football side, who has 1 year of experience. That is insane. But, as I say, their money, they want to waste their money on all this because they are. They've just had to pay Ruben Amorim about 30 million. Why? Because they've got Wilcox in, who has a completely different remit to what should be at the club at this moment in time. So yeah, there you go. Enjoy.